doing a road trip without a map. Like if you're going to go from Chicago to Los Angeles, you roughly have an understanding of the geography of the country and of the states, and you understand innately that the southwest is a direction, and you know if you've gone too far, that kind of thing. Like, I don't know specifically how I'm going to get there, but I've known from the first word I knew how it was going to end and how far I was going to go, and if I got the chance to tell the whole story, what the whole story would be, and I sort of found where the natural chapter breaks would come and all that stuff.
Okay, and are the brothers still alternating art?
Yeah, I have the first issue of volume 3, number 1 with me, so it's a printout. Yeah, so Gabrielle is plugging along. It's thrilling. I mean, it's very, very collaborative to see when I get the Casanova art back, because they're Brazilian and don't have the same frames of reference that I write that I have. So when I write frame of reference stuff, it kind of bounces off of them. Like they don't necessarily know what Thunderball is or whatever if I make a Thunderball reference. So it's great to get their kind of raw interpretation of what the data is. It's amazing. It's a great thrill. It's magic. It's really magic. I think like a 6. I think on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm hated on a 6 by Bendis for digging Stewart. But then Brian started to see the pages from Fear Itself, and I think he understood that it was something that Stewart needed to do. And he and I both love Stewart. Like as his fans, I'm going to say nothing of what a guy he is, but it's the chance for him to be connected to something this massive is great. My favorite Stewart imminent book, it's kind of a tie. I like when he was writing the Superman stuff he was doing. He did some really astonishing layout stuff, and he just does a phenomenal Superman. Or probably Next Wave. I think Stewart is a pure cartoonist in a lot of ways that people don't often give him credit for, and he got to really open up and do some fun stuff in Next Wave that I really love too.
Yeah, Stewart.
He's a goddamn genius, and everything he touches is amazing. So it's like, which one of these gold ducats is shiniest? I don't know. They're all shiny gold ducats. So. Our familial writing schedule is sort of, we have 2 kids now, so it's kind of like zone defense. Like our natural posture tends to be this. So whenever something isn't on fire, something isn't crying, and we're awake, we try to write. I mean, it's close to like normal banker's hours these days. Like, we wake up and get the kids to daycare and have roughly until 5:30 to write as much as we can. And I try to stay up later and work, but I'm too fried by the end of the day. I tend to get up at like 7 or 8 these days. So come 10 at night, I'm pretty wiped. Fear Itself is the story of what happens when the Red Skull discovers that Odin isn't the All-Father. She frees this ancient Norse deity that Odin had imprisoned millennia ago, and she's transformed into a deity for her troubles. And so then you've got the might-be-true All-Father and this transformed Red Skull waging war across the entire world. It's Captain America's worst nightmare, and there's a Red Skull even more powerful than her father ever dreamed of. And Thor's worst nightmare, and that everything he thought he knew about being a god is built on might be built on a house of lies. And they have to basically mount a global response to a world war against 2 deities that thrive and feed on making people afraid and awful.